Welcome to this Body Slam Progress special, joined today by the man who on the 15th of May at chapter 134, No Mountain High Enough, will finally step into the ring with Cara Noir, one-on-one. Please welcome Lord Spike Trivet, LST. How are you, Spike? Oh, sorry, Lord Spike.
No, thank you very much for that introduction. That's very kind, very, very well done.
Thank you very much. And of course, we are Tea and Tights. We are the Great British Wrestling podcast for Great British Wrestling, as featured on bodyslam.net, brought to you by Powered4 TV. And of course, we're here to talk about chapter 134 and your long rivalry now with Cara Noir. I'll apologize, actually, my colleague isn't here today. It is election day in the UK. He is a local councillor, so he is waiting on his results. So
good luck to him.
Thank you very much for that. I'm sure he will. I know your parties don't see eye to eye, but I'm sure he'll take the compliment anyway.
As that's an assumption on your part as to what my party is. I've never told anybody what my party is. That's never been anything of public record, and it will continue to never be anything of public record.
You see, the Progress fans, they just assume too much.
I wouldn't say that they just assume too much, but it's not the Progress fans, it's all fans. It's not a negative. It's not meant to be a negative thing. I have just put forward a persona that I've always put forward the persona that I wanted to put forward, whether you view it as a character or whether you view it as me turned up to 10 or whether you view it as an extension of me or however you want to put it. That's how I presented it. And the things that they chant at me, which I'm sure we can't repeat on such a reputable platform, are not on me. That's nothing I've confirmed or denied. I've lent into things that I thought would annoy people more, but I've never ever confirmed anything. And I think if you see a person dressed the way I present myself when I walk through the curtain, and you feel the need to put a political stamp on it, and you feel the need to put and you feel the need to make it political and throw vitriol at that persona, then that's wrestling's for everyone apparently. So we can all that's you've paid your ticket, that's your prerogative.
Of course, Simon Miller has said that if you aren't happy with any chance, you do just need to speak to a member of Progress, and that they're apparently going to solve that for you in the effort of making it a more inclusive environment for everybody.
Of course. How do you think it would fare if someone complained about the chants I get? I don't think they'd fare very well.
No, it seems to be a bit of a double standard, maybe.
Somewhat, maybe. Maybe. I'm not saying there is, I'm not saying there's not, but maybe there is, maybe there isn't.
Now, let's get back to Cara Noir. This started because you wanted a shot at the championship belt. You were undefeated in Progress. You had defeated top contenders such as Chris Ridgway. You'd defeated all the young guys, Big Guns Joe, Danny Black. And you did politely ask Noir for his match. And yes, he is a man of very few words, but it was quite clear what he was trying to say.
Yeah, he couldn't have made his feelings about me more clearer, could he? No,
and that seemed to, just because you're always quite an angry person, violent, and that just seemed to turn it up to 10 because you went around getting disqualified, attacking your opponents after, because at that point you just claimed that wins and losses did not matter.
Well, I mean, they don't, do they? If it's all about wins and losses, and and every time this, and fans will keep up with it on social media, though I'm not on aspects of social media anymore. Fans will keep up with it and they'll see like, well, he's had this many wins, or she's had this many wins, or they've had this many wins. So surely they deserve a title shot now. Surely he must be being built or pushed to be to this point. So that's not a new thing, is it? That's not a revelation to people. That's how
sports work.
That's how combat sports work. Well, that's how sports work. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you're right. That's how sports work. If you win and win and win, then you get to go to the very top. And I didn't think that was a particularly unreasonable thing to have asked for. And I still don't think it was a particularly unreasonable thing to have asked for. And I don't think he thought it was an unreasonable thing for me to have asked for. It's just his particular feelings towards me, I feel, that led him to make the decisions that he's made.
And of course, that led to you making the decisions you made, because it's now progressed past just the title. There's more to it than that now. I mean, at the end of the day, you cost him his title, and you're not going after Jonathan Gresham, who is the champion. You are still going after Cara Noir with one of the most vicious and heinous attacks in a wrestling ring. My colleague was there live. He said it was one of the most violent attacks he had seen in wrestling for a long time, since the days of ECW. So what is it now? What is behind this anger towards Cara?
Well, I mean, I don't think it's necessarily about anger. I think that it's about having to get things done at certain times and to demonstrate certain things. So the first thing that always needs to be done if somebody ignores you is that you have to make yourself undeniable to them. And I think that's the same as if you're a wrestler or if it's anything, you must make yourself undeniable. The problem is, it's not the problem, but the thing that other people do is they think that undeniable means that you have to be positively undeniable. And I don't feel that way. I don't have to be positive to anybody. If I want to be undeniable to Cara Noir or to the Progress fans or to any fans for that matter, I'm happy to do it in a negative way. I'm happy for them to feel about me any way they want, as long as they don't ignore what I do. As long as I'm not being ignored or they feel indifferent to me, that's all I care about. And it was about doing things and it was about making the right points at the right time. So, he did what he did, and he said no. And that put me in a position of where I had to think about what I was going to do. And so that's why I started throwing away the matches, because win and losses just don't matter. And the fact that Progress seems to think that they still do is bizarre to me, because nobody from management ever stepped in. Nobody from management ever stepped in and was like, and said, no, he's has the best win-loss record at this time. He deserves a shot. Nobody got involved. What does that tell you?
Yes, as you mentioned.
It tells you that there's a bias it tells you there's a bias in the office. So, and I'm okay with that. I'm all right with biases, but you're not going to be able to keep one on me for very long. Whatever it is you're biased about in terms of me, it's not going to hold me down. I'm not going to be restricted by that. I'm going to break through that bias. I'm going to break through that glass ceiling, and I'm going to do something about it. There were many things. I mean, attacking him to get that belt off him. Well, I mean, if he's not going to give me a title shot because he has some sort of personal disdain for me, then we've got to get that belt off him. And if we've got, that's it, isn't it? If that belt was the block, but if that belt was the wall between him and me, well, we've knocked it down. It's gone. He doesn't have it anymore, because if that was what he was holding in between him and me. And then the attack at the anniversary was really two things. The first one was that he was ignoring me. He didn't respond to me. He didn't say anything about it. He thought he could just walk out there with Ilya Dragunov and just put on a theatre of violence and not even mention the fact that I had cost him the thing that he is, he was so proud to defend, and all the fans thought he, wore so well. But, so there was that. And the second one was that Jonathan Gresham is an international superstar. Jonathan Gresham is a very, very big deal. And, it surprised me just as much as anybody that he decided to capitalize on what I had done. But that's what he did. And, more power to him, I suppose. But it became apparent to me that the victory, his winning of the title, became more about him winning the title, not the way he won it. If you were to look on social media, you would have never known that I was involved. You would have never actually have known who the champion was previously, and so I had to make it a bigger deal. It had to become a bigger issue than that, and people had to. That's why I went to the Progress management straight after it happened, and I told them I needed to say a few words about whether or not he remembered me. The promo that went up on Twitter like 2 or 3 days afterwards, or on all social media, it was about letting people know that you may have a new champion, but that's not the biggest issue that you have to deal with now. The issue is what's going to happen between me and Thomas Dawkins, or Cara Noir as people like to call him.
Yes, this is something that's really come to light recently, is you have not referred to him as Cara Noir for quite some time, and you were trying to almost strip him of that identity.
It's not his name. It's not his name. That's not who he is. He's not Cara Noir. He isn't a black swan. He's a man. He's a man. He's a bloke. He's a bloke from Essex called Tom.
So you're trying to take away that mystique that you feel that he has had, or is, again, just out of vitriol, just out of, well, if you're going to ignore me, this is what I'm going to do. It's not about taking it away from him. I don't want to, I don't want to take away something that gives someone joy. Why would I want to do that? That's not who I am. But at the same time, it's just important for people to know that it's an act. It's not a real thing. Cara Noir is not a real thing. It's there, but that makeup is there because it's hiding something. It's hiding Tom from us all, and there are things that he doesn't want us to know about who he is, and I'm okay with, and that's the difference between him and me. I'm not bothered by that. I don't have to hide who I am in order to get people to feel something about me. It may not be loved. I may not be loved by the fans, but I couldn't care less about that. It's water off my back. I couldn't get water off a swan's back. It literally couldn't. It doesn't bother me at all. I don't need to pretend to be anything in order to get them to feel something about me. And that's what this business is about. It's about getting people to feel something about you. And I would severely question the sanity of any person who could feel like they would stand in a room, in a Progress room, or any wrestling venue for that matter, where I'm stood in the ring, and not feel the atmosphere that's in that room, and not feel the atmosphere that's in that room. It's a vitriolic, raw, electric, electric atmosphere that I absolutely love, because it's like anything could happen, and none of it is towards me, and towards me, none of it's positive. But I don't need that. Whereas with Tom, that's what he needs. This is everything that this whole act is about, creating positive reinforcement. Yes.
And And if he's not going to behave in an honourable, positive way towards other members of the roster, such as myself, who have earned the right to do it, then why does he get why does he get to have that positive reinforcement? It doesn't make any sense to me.
Now, you've talked about showing the fans who Cara Noir really is, and you mentioned during a recent interview with SoCal Val following Chapter 133 stop motion skeleton battle, following your match with Danny Black, you claimed that you already won. What do you mean by this?
Well, look at him. Just look at him. Look at what he showed everybody. You know, he's not just Thomas Dawkins, Cara Noir, the Black Swan. I'm not going to sit here on this interview with you or any interview or any platform and say he's not an incredible physical athlete, say that he's not an amazing specimen. He absolutely is. You know, he has physical talent in abundance. All you have to do is watch him at the beginning of a match just swish his shoulders around in something that I like to call loosey-goosey. All you got to do, it's like his whole body's made of water. But that's not enough. He's got to have it all. Do you know what I mean? He's got to have it all. He can't just be this amazing physical specimen. He's also got to be this amazing art statement. And he's also got to be this cerebral, psychological genius, and that's, again, it's all just bravado. It's BS, and that's what, and he walked. And if for those of you who haven't seen it, what was the name of the chapter again? I'm sorry, you're so good at your job. You named the chapter. I can't remember it. What was it?
The 10th anniversary show or 133?
No, this is the one where Danny Black, with the match with Danny Black.
So that was chapter 133, stop motion skeleton battle.
Beautiful. So he walks in, and it's interesting. He walks through. He doesn't do the black lights down, lights up appearance. He keeps everybody thinking. He walked through the door just like a normal fan, and he's carrying that chair, and he's doing intense Cara Noir acting, and he walks down the thing and people are cheering, and he's looking at me dead in the eye with the chair as if he's going to do something, and then he turns his back and he walks up the stairs and he sits on the chair and he surprises everyone. It's interesting, but it didn't take. And yeah, okay, it got in, for the match, it confused me. I didn't really understand why he wasn't getting involved, and it cost me the match with Danny Black. And whatever, it's a match to Danny Black, mortal to him. That victory to him is bigger than a lot. That victory to him, that's a bigger thing to him than it would have been for me. A loss over Danny Black for me, he's brilliant, wonderful, wonderful young man. I'm sure. But it's, the loss of that is not as big a deal as the win was for him. So he can have that. It's fine. But all it took for me was just to destroy that mask in front of everybody. And all of a sudden, this monster appears. Where's this monster appears? He storms to the ring. He double legs me. He beats me. He tries to do his package pile driver on broken glass. He's got these, all the members of the crew come in. He's fighting the members of the crew. What reasonable, calm, respectable member of society does that? That's not a good person. That's not admirable, and that's what I mean by I've already won. He's already, the makeup isn't even removed, and he's already peeling it away.
You've exposed him.
I've made him expose himself. That's got nothing, what he does as a result of my actions has got nothing to do with me. I just do what I want to do, and he behaves the way he behaves. He behaves as Tom Dawkins behaves. And if you saw the way he behaved with all of those crew members and, that assaulting me and all of those things like that, that's not how a champion behaves.
It's no longer a champion.
Well, there you go. And bloody right too.
Now, of course, long term, there must be, once you're thinking, I'm going to defeat Noir, I'm going to leave him. Now, the championship must be on your mind somewhere. Now, Super Strong Style 16 is just around the corner. You haven't been announced yet. Do you expect to be announced? Have you entered?
There have been conversations about me entering, yes. I don't think that I am, as I say, I am not Progress Management's favorite person. And you can, as we've said before as we said earlier, you can tell by the ignoring of my win-loss record. You can tell in many different ways that there is an office bias toward me. I don't really know why. And it goes way back. It goes way back to the days of DNR and before that. So it seems to have crossed over different management, which is fine. So there have been discussions, but I feel that they're probably going to try everything in their power to keep me out, but it's not going to work.
How would you react if Cara Noir was to be the next person announced for Super Strong Style 16?
Well, he's not going to make it there, is he? Doesn't matter. Either way, he's not going to make it there. Doesn't matter whether he's announced first. Doesn't matter whether he's announced last. He's not going to walk in there. Cara Noir is not going to be in Super Strong Style 16.
Strong message there. Now, you talked about new management. They have come in. How have you felt about the new management and what they have been doing with Progress? The huge anniversary week, the BAME show, the all-women's show. How do you think the new management have fared with Progress so far?
Well, when I say management, when I've spoken about management previously in this interview, I'm talking about what we would refer to as creative, right? I'm not talking about Lee and Martyn and those people, the owners, if specify what management is, what the office is. Yeah, fine. They've been fine with me. They've been fine with me. They've taken care of everybody in a good way. They've made everybody comfortable. They've put everybody's comfort and safety before anything else. And yeah, there's not really much to say on them besides that they've come in, they do their job properly, they take care of everybody, they're responsible for everybody's safety, they are responsible for everybody's well-being, and I genuinely believe they take that very seriously. Yeah, this, I don't really have anything to say about them that isn't just a superlative about how they've run the place. I think they've come in with the right ideas. I think they come in with the right attitude. I think they've come in with the best intentions. Shake everybody's hand when they arrive, shake everybody's hand when they leave and say thank you. And I really mean it, and they want to do good things with the company. And, for some reason, despite all of the mayhem that me and Thomas have created over the past 4 months, they seem to want to invest in Spike Trivet further. And that's something that I can get on board with.
It's been a long time coming, this rivalry, and to finally see the two of you get in the ring, it is huge for Progress, and I think it will be one of the biggest matches in a long period, despite some of the huge matches that we have seen recently.
Thank you.
Now, you mentioned DNR, so I'm just going to ask, obviously, Drew Parker today, he became the BJW Ultra Deathmatch champion.
Did you really?
Yes. How do you feel about, obviously, your old partner, Drew Parker, doing very well for himself over in Japan?
Very good. Well done. You know, he's me and Drew haven't always seen eye to eye. But in his own way, he's a fabulous lunatic. And it's very good to see what was the urchin prince become what he's become. To be honest, I'm not on, as I said to you prior, I'm somewhat of a technophobe. I'm not really on lots of social media. Loading up This Is a Meeting was a struggle for me, to be honest. So I don't really see a lot of the stuff on social media. So I wasn't very aware, but you know, he's a, as I say, he's a fabulous maniac, and I wish him all the best, and I'm happy for him, and I hope he comes back and brings everything he's learnt back here, and I would love to skirmish with him one more time, minus a mirror.
That would be good. I really would. Now, of course, your match is not the only match at Chapter 134. It will be the main event, but it is a huge lineup. No mountain high enough at the Electirc Ballroom, the home of Progress. Alexis Falcon versus Sky Smithson table match. Jonathan Gresham versus G Money for a spot in the Super Strong Style 16. Luke Jacobs and Roy Johnson for the Atlas Championship.
Yeah.
The long-awaited debut of Ricky Knight Jr., and he faces the young sensation Leon Slater. Max the Impaler makes their debut to face Raven Creed. WXW roster Axel Tisca.
I'm a big Max the Impaler fan.
She's going to cause havoc, lay waste to Progress, as she has done around most of the UK so far.
I've only recently come across their work, very, very recently, since I saw Clementine do a promo on Twitter about it, which I thought was a rather fabulous piece of media. And I found Max through there and have been tracking and have been looking at some of their stuff on YouTube. And I must say, I'm a huge fan. So I'm looking forward to seeing what they bring to Progress. I probably won't be able to watch it much at the time, but I think it will be. I think that will be a smash debut.
And you'll watch it on the WWE Network and the Progress on Demand once available. Oh no, Demand Progress. Sorry.
Yes, thank you. Yeah, I'll be watching that at a later date, I think.
And you've got the 4 members of the WXW roster looking for a spot in the Super Strong Style 16. Axel Tisca, Bobby Guns, Jörn Simmons, and Maggot in a match I'm really looking forward to. Sunshine Machine and versus the Smokey and Aces #1 contendership match. Of course, again, one of your former DNR running buddies. Of course, you did kick him out the unit just before everything went to pot.
Well, I used to be. I've been in different versions of. I've been in different versions of factions and stables with, so I know them both very, very well, and I know that they're. We don't really, as I say, we don't really see eye to eye these days, but I know that it has. Sunshine Machine, I mean, and I know that it has been their long-term goal to be not just champions, but just a tag team anyway, just to be a tag team. They are the best of friends. probably one of the reasons I'm no longer part of their group. It's, either you can only have one best friend, can't you? And I know that their journey to what must be an inevitable Progress tag team title run is one that they care about very much. And Smoking Aces and Sunshine Machine 2 is something I'm again looking forward to seeing at a later day. I won't be able to see it on the day, but yeah. But good luck for that.
That is for the #1 contendership to face D0121, Dan Maloney and man like Doris.
I really want to fight Dan Maloney.
I'm a challenge.
I'm not laying down a challenge because I've got bigger fish to fry, and he's not bigger fish, but other fish. So we say, no offense to Driller, of course. He's very much a large fish, but he's very much a big fish. But when all of this rubbish with the Black Swan is over, and if he ever finds himself not in a tag team, I think I would like to be put in consideration for his, for any future skirmishes he might want to be part of. And I'm sure I can find a way to get his attention I'm sure I can find a way to get his attention should he not want to.
I think that is very clear and evident from the way you've grabbed Cara Noir's attention. So as I say, that is chapter 134, No Mountain High Enough, at the Electirc Ballroom London. I do believe tickets are still available via progress.com. The Super Strong Style 16 weekend tickets and single tickets are also available on progress.com. Any final words?
I think that people should be trying to get their tickets to this Progress show, because very, very, very soon you're not going to see Cara Noir in the way you thought you would before. When I'm finished with him, when I'm finished with Cara and I'm finished with Tom, it's not going to be the same. So if you want one last swan song, I suggest you get your wallets and your purses out, because I promise you, he's never going to be the same.
Wow. With that said, don't feed the trolls.